What can those who don't live in Hong Kong do to support the protesters fighting for freedom? Hong Konger here. Keep visiting us. Don't let the government have any more excuses to say the protesters have ruined tourism in Hong Kong. It really is pretty safe here 99% of the time, and protesters know to protect the innocent. Edit. Just to clarify one thing, as I keep seeing it in my responses. The Hong Kong International Airport has been temporarily closed this past Monday and Tuesday, but has resumed normal operation since then. Protests in the airport have been scaled way back as well. Hong Konger here. First, I thank you all sincerely for caring for us. So the best things you can do is to spread the words to others in your nation. Showing the government and the Communist Party in China how many people care will undoubtedly give them a lot of pressure. I also want to tell you guys that Hong Kong exists and it contains a lot of information you guys really need to know. Thank you. Edit. I really appreciate all your comments. Please continue asking me about Hong Kong. I'll gladly try to answer all. As her, I am interested in what the foreigners think is happening in Hong Kong right now. Since in the past few months, it's hard to find unbiased information, truth feels like it's in short supply. On one hand, you have pro-PRC newspaper like Global Times that supports the government, report the worst bit of the protesters, calling local triad heroes in white for beating up protesters, who were dressed in black, and how the protesters occupying HK Airport costs the aviation industry several 10 millions. And then on the other hand, you have newspaper like BBC, or social media channels like Twitter that show how peaceful the protests are, at least initially, the police using excessive force, intentionally allowing protesters to be beaten up, and HK government ignoring the requests of protesters. Oh, regarding the title Fighting for Freedom. The extradition bill may be the spark that starts the fire, but what keeps the fire going is far more than that. It's not just about freedom anymore. Help other people in your own city to be aware of the situation in Hong Kong. Funnily enough, Reddit makes the situation seem more known than it actually is outside of internet context. I've had several discussions out here with people, perhaps 12 different people, all 12 didn't know this issue existed, and most didn't seem to really care. So far this Area 51 raid has far more presence than Hong Kong's protests, which is unfortunate. Don't let it lose coverage. The only weapon and protection Hong Kong protesters have is the media. Once they lose that, they literally have nothing. Unless the UK offers her citizenship asylum, I doubt much can be done. But then Brexitland is basically Bojo's Bizarre Adventure now. Spread the news about it. Talk about it on other types of social media. Although it's a small step, bringing awareness to a problem is a step towards a solution. I see that several countries are taking the side of the protesters, but it still needs to be talked about more. I couldn't find any website where you could directly help them, sadly, so the best thing we can do is bring awareness to the situation. Watch, learn, and don't repeat their mistakes at home. It's easy to forget how hard freedom was fought for, and people so easily give up that freedom at a request. I'm a Hong Konger and your support means the world to us. These couple of days have been pretty rough for me and I'm almost at my breaking point. Seeing fellow Redditors supporting our cause really made me smile. Thank you so much for your support. Edit, my first gold. Thank you, kind stranger. And thank you all so much for your kind words. Seriously, I'm bawling my eyes out. Us Hong Konger won't give up and will fight for freedom till the end. Fight against corruption. Whether that corruption is inside you, at local administration or at national level. They are playing their part. When will we upvote? See how that Area 51 raid blew up due to memes. We have to start making them about HK on how the actions government and police force is literally inhumane. Support us by staying informed and being objective about the situation. Most of us are peaceful. The violence defines a number of us but not the majority. There are also a lot of unverified accusations and outright lies on social media, including Reddit. Don't trust. Verify. Don't demonize the police but denounce police brutality and poor de-escalation tactics. Denounce violence from everyone, including the protesters. Denounce propaganda and interference of reporters from both sides. Denounce biased media framing from international news. Seek unedited live footage. I can't stress this enough. Live footage. Not written summaries with emotive language and sensationalized headlines. When debating, recognize different fallacies. The most common ones are ad hominem, red herring and straw man. Many arguments never really address the opposition's argument. To everyone here from HK, here in Canada, you guys are on our news daily. We care about you and we really hope for the best for you guys. I've been seeing a lot of reports the government is threatening bringing in soldiers and tanks, so please be safe. I've been living in Hong Kong ever since I was born. Personally, it would be really helpful if you guys kept spreading the word and putting in your thoughts yourselves. Protesting right at your desk is basically what I'm trying to say. Something even as little as supporting us is fine. However, because of the protests, some parts of our city are being destroyed, blocked off, etc. Things like that can't exactly be fixed by others who don't live in Hong Kong, but if we do end up protesting for the next few years and basically never stopping, I think it would be really helpful for people to come by and protest too. Contacting lawyers or LegCo staff members about the situations could be really helpful. Even if you can't do anything, that's totally fine. But all I really think we need is for the rest of the world to agree with removing the extraditional bill. Carrie Lam will face her wrong ways and it'll be removed. But that's only something we could dream of. Trying our best to make this a reality is the most I ask for. Again, thank you to everyone for actually caring about our population and our home smile. Oh, and boycott the new Mulan movie. The lead just posted a picture saying I support Hong Kong police. You can hit me. https://www.reddit.com or Hong Kong comments 7 Disney's Mulan actress Liu Wi-Fi supports police. Ute Medium Android app at source share. We can't do anything about it, and don't kid yourself that we can. Our government have already officially protested to the Chinese. They told us to get ducked. What next? Well, assuming China rolls in the military, which it doesn't want to do to one of the world's financial centers, then next step would be sanctions. But that would require a global response. Considering Russia and China, will effectively veto anything the UN does, and American companies rely on cheap Chinese labor and materials, nothing will happen. Change your social media filters. Is there somewhere I could find a relatively unbiased TLI5 of what the situation is? From what I've seen on Reddit, I can see that it is ducked over there, but I'd have no idea how to explain it to someone else. Lol, peak virtue signaling. Now go buy some Chinese-made shit that you order on your Chinese-made computer that gets originally delivered by Alibaba. Dicks out for Hong Kong. Hong Kong are here. Just want to add to what everyone already said. Please keep checking up on us. Don't let the story die. The moment Western media forgets us is the moment China is free to do whatever it wants without repercussions. But also, please, do not give up on us. Despite all the protests and violence, Hong Kong is still an incredibly international and vibrant city, and all we are trying to do is to fight to let Hong Kong be Hong Kong, rather than slipping into just another Chinese city. As long as we still have your support, we will strive to continue our fight for the spirit of Hong Kong. Thank you. What happened to good old-fashioned sending of thoughts and prayers? Stop the censorship and keep spreading the footage. I know this will get hate, but please, changing the color of your profile pic does nothing. Chinese government doesn't give a crap what the rest of the world thinks. They have seen that they have gotten away with full-on genocide against the Uyghurs. I think they are confident that the rest of the world will make some condemnations, but won't actually do anything if they decide to crush the protests. They can also look at what India is doing in Kashmir and see how they're getting away with it as well, or look at what the Sudanese military is doing to their protesters, or what Israel does in Palestine. China can do as it pleases, the rest of the world isn't going to do shit. I live in another tyrannical government. The best you can do is to arm yourself. If Hong Kong had guns, China wouldn't be able to do that. Write to your representatives, call them, tell them this is an issue you care deeply about and ask them to sanction individuals that threaten Hong Kong's freedom through their actions, place an embargo on selling riot equipment to the Hong Kong police, and in general break political and commercial ties with China. If you're an American, tell your senator and congressperson that you would like them to support the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. If you're British, remind your MP that the UK has an obligation to Hong Kong and urge your MP to pressure the government to declare that China is violating the Sino-British Joint Declaration.